Since the tournament, Frieza has disappeared, leaving without so much as a trace, and leaving us to wonder just what he's been up to in the months since, pretty much saving the universe alongside Goku and 17. Back around Universe 7 and on Earth, the Z-Fighters are enjoying an extended period of peace as we see Goku, along with Piccolo, relaxing and enjoying a meal together. It's nice to see Goku and the others just living a regular life every now and then. You begin to think that after a while, these guys just fight 24/7. Off in the God Realm, however, Beerus has returned to his home planet and attempts to start his favorite activity, which is of course sleeping, but something is amiss. Now right away I knew what was wrong because some of you guys haven't liked the video yet, and you know what happens to those that don't. I'm just saying. Beerus takes a long yawn as his nap seems to have been cut short as we arrive on his planet. Whis approaches him, wondering what's bothering his sleep as well, as he asks, "Awake already, my lord?" Beerus, funnily enough, replies that it's just so hard to get a good slumber after that glorious win by their team in the tournament. Though, I must admit, I did have my doubts at times, he says. I think that's pretty fair because that boy Jiren, Whis continues the conversation, saying that Goku and Vegeta have come a long way since they first encountered them so many years ago. These guys didn't know what God Ki was, nor could they go beyond Super Saiyan 3, and putting that into perspective in relation to where we are now is crazy. Beerus agrees also, saying that the way that Frieza and Goku combined their strength was pretty admirable, something we never thought we'd see happen. Vegeta and Goku. With challenges like the Tournament of Power, there's no telling how far those two can go, Whis remarks. You're right, Whis, Beerus goes on, and he says something here that I find pretty interesting. Beerus remarks about how it seems that soon, one of them, either Goku or Vegeta, will actually pose a legitimate challenge to him someday, and maybe soon at that. Whis comments that, believe it or not, Goku's son, who goes by Gohan, I believe, he was also a part of our win in the tournament, he declares. Once, he even surpassed his father Goku when he was just a boy. Now, this last comment really gets Beerus' attention as he asks, "Are you serious, Whis?" excitedly. That's hard to believe since he was eliminated rather early. Allow me to show you then, my lord, Whis replies as he extends his staff and casts a spell that allows him to see prior instances of Gohan's insane power. Whoa, Beerus exclaims. This is pretty ridiculous. Where was this power during the tournament? For Beerus to be this impressed with Gohan, he must really see something within him, and this is only the battle with Cell that has him so convinced. I honestly think his battle with Majin Buu was just as, if not more impressive, but let me know down below which of Gohan's battles was the most impressive to you. Apparently, Whis proceeds, Gohan doesn't share his father nor Vegeta's taste for a challenge in terms of fighting, and was reluctant to even join the tournament until he learned what was at stake. I see, Beerus says. It's a waste of power if you ask me. Beerus seems really intrigued, however, and it's slowly leading into something dangerous. It seems his only focus and his concern are his wife, child, and being what they call a scholar, Whis explains. As we knew this already, but this is the first time we've seen Beerus take any interest in Gohan, really. If he had that much power as a child, Beerus continues, one can only imagine what hidden power he currently has locked away. I agree, my lord, Whis says. However, his inner strength seems to come from loss of life and not the thrill of a challenge, which supports my earlier theory about him. Loss of life, huh? Beerus begins, and I can literally hear the gears turning in his head right now, thinking of just how he can pull this off. Whis, show me those previous battles again. Of course, Whis says, as he extends his staff again. That one, Beerus says, as Whis pauses on the current fight between Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Cell. Of those battles, this one stands out to me the most, Beerus says, to which Whis replies, I see. Whis, I want you to bring this one to me. As you wish, my lord, he says, as Beerus and Whis seem to devise a plan, whatever it is, to draw out Gohan's true inner power once and for all. When we catch back up with Goku, Gohan, and the others, I gotta say, these fellas look like they having the time of their lives on this beach over here. Might have to take a trip soon myself, honestly. You know, Dad, Gohan begins. There were moments where I thought we weren't gonna win the tournament. I know, Gohan, Goku says. I'm sure everyone, including myself, had doubts at times, especially knowing what was at stake. But we all pulled through in the end, and it was a team effort. Yeah, Gohan, Krillin chimes in. Me, Master Roshi, Tien, Piccolo, 17 and 18, Vegeta, and dare I even say Frieza helped win the whole thing. Yeah, Gohan replies. I just feel like I could have done more. I've neglected my training so much that I had to team up with Frieza of all people, then sacrifice myself to take out Dispo. Goku throws his arm around Gohan and tells him he has to stop beating himself up so much over that. You did the best you could, and I'm proud of you, he says, reassuring his son. That's right, Krillin says, agreeing, but Gohan still seems to have his doubts. This is when Bulma shows up asking if everyone's enjoying the sun, as Goku gets up saying that he knows he annoys everyone because he likes to train a lot, but really is nice for everyone to come together like this and have a good time every once in a while. I couldn't agree more, Bulma states. That's right, Chi-Chi agrees. I'd love for my husband to spend more time at home with his family, but of course he'll just find some excuse to train. Well, this kinda ruffles some feathers because it looks like Vegeta actually isn't here, and according to Bulma, he really is training. Well, that does sound like Vegeta, Krillin says, as Goku takes this opportunity to say he'll go and see what's up with Vegeta and takes his leave. Of course, Chi-Chi really isn't too happy about this, but Bulma, she just asks if Goku can just give him a little message when he sees him.
Tell him he's a jerk.
Holy. Back at Capsule Corp, Vegeta's in the gravity chamber continuing his training as Goku pulls up saying, "Hey Vegeta," interrupting him. "What do you want, Kakarot?" Vegeta demands. "As you can see, I'm busy." "Yeah, about that," Goku replies. "Bulma wanted me to tell you something. What did she say?"
Tell him he's a jerk.
"Yeah, she's not too happy about you not being at the beach right now." "Please," Vegeta says, as he continues his push-ups. Anyway, Goku continues, "I figured we'd have a little sparring session." "I'm doing just fine on my own, clown," Vegeta responds, "but I mean, come on, we know this probably won't last long." "Oh, come on, Vegeta," Goku begs. "I know you want to test out that newfound strength of yours. Why not with me?" "Fine, if it'll get you out of here sooner," Vegeta says after a moment. "See, I told you guys." Back over wherever Beerus and Whis are. Beerus is clearly talking to Cell right now, so I won't act, as Beerus says that, "I see you've had some history with these Saiyans, and his particular battle with you intrigued me, which is why I had my companion Whis bring you to me. I must admit that this plan of yours is rather cruel, even by your standards, my lord," Whis says. "I am a god of destruction, not an angel like you," he says to Whis, "so I can be cruel at times. Besides," he goes on, "I want to see how much power that boy is hiding. If he has power anything like his father, I want to see it. And unfortunately for him, this is the only way I can see it coming to light. As you said before, Whis, loss of life. Now show him his target." "What was her name again, Whis?" Beerus says. "Oh man, this is not good." "Videl," Whis replies, and oh, this is really bad." "Yes, that's right," Beerus continues. "This woman who goes by Videl, who is now the wife of the Saiyan Gohan, is your target," Beerus says. "That boy has grown quite strong since your last encounter, so I've given you a portion of my power." Wait, what? "Just enough to overpower his current strength. You think you can handle that?" "With pleasure," Cell responds. "Good," Beerus says. "Whis, take him to Earth." And the chapter closes, returning to the fun day in the sun Gohan and his family are currently enjoying, with Whis and Cell taking off. Has Beerus betrayed the Earthlings, or does his allegiance lie with no one since he is the god of destruction of Universe 7? A decent amount of time has passed since the conclusion of the Tournament of Power, and things have been quite peaceful ever since. When we last left off in our most recent fan manga series by Jarius Smith called Dragon Ball Rage, Universe 7 would be in the midst of a pretty peaceful period, but ever since then, Frieza has disappeared, leaving without a trace to whereabouts unknown. In the meantime, however, Goku and his friends are busy enjoying their vacation as we see him eating with Piccolo and heading to the beach with Chi-Chi, Bulma, and the others next. Every time I see this panel, I swear this just looks mad relaxing and fun. Drop a like if you agree. While this was taking place though, a devious plan was being created, one so horrific that even I think he's taking it too far this time just for kicks. Off in the God Realm, we will go on to see Beerus, who thanks to that glorious win in the tournament, is having trouble sleeping, funnily enough. Beerus was very much impressed by Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza especially, and Whis agrees, saying that with challenges like that, there's no telling how far those two could go. He even goes on to mention that Goku and Vegeta aren't the only Saiyans who have endless potential. Goku's son Gohan, who was also in the tournament, actually surpassed Goku once when he was just a boy. Whis goes on to show Beerus Gohan's prior fights over the years when he was a child, and Beerus quickly realizes that if he was able to do all of this as a child, there's no telling what hidden power he currently has locked away. Whis warns him, however, that Gohan's only concern in the present day seemed to be his wife and child and being what they call a scholar down on Earth. Beerus doesn't seem to really agree though and wants to attempt to push Gohan even further. Whis explains that it seems that his inner strength is different from Goku and Vegeta's, however. It comes from the loss of life and not the thrill of a challenge. This sparks a scheme in Beerus' head though, as he asks to see the battle between Gohan and Cell once more. "That's it," Beerus exclaims. "Bring him to me now." "As you wish, my lord," Whis replies, and when Whis would return, he would be accompanied by not Gohan, but Cell. Whis declares that this plan of his is rather cruel even for Lord Beerus, but Beerus has already made up his mind. Beerus introduces himself to Cell, telling him outright the reason for bringing him here, which is to force out the true inner power of the one called Gohan. Unfortunately, Beerus sees this plan as the only way to awaken the rest of his potential, and this is where Cell's target comes in, Videl. Not only this, it seems Beerus has gone so far as to give a portion of his own power to Cell, and then Whis and Cell make their way to Earth. Today's chapter begins with Whis and Cell arriving on Earth as we see them take their first steps on the planet, arriving as enemies. Whis seems to be done here though, as he tells Cell that he's done what Lord Beerus has asked of him and brought him to Earth. "As you may have noticed," he goes on, "I wasn't too fond of this plan, so I would not aid you in finding her location," he says. "I'll leave the rest to you." "I understand," Cell answers, as Whis takes his leave and returns to Beerus' planet. "I'm on my way, Gohan," Cell says with a sinister smile on his face. Back at Capsule Corp, Goku and Vegeta have just finished their training session for the time being, as Goku tells him, "See Vegeta, I knew you wouldn't regret sparring with me. I know I had fun." "I guess you being here wasn't a complete waste," Vegeta replies reluctantly. "Well, I'm beat," Goku says. "Is it cool if I crash here for a bit and get some sleep?" Vegeta asks if maybe Chi-Chi is mad at him or something, to which Goku answers that she's always mad at him about something, but no, that's not it. "I see," Vegeta says. "Well, then the answer is no." Vegeta kicks Goku out, sending him back home, and on his way out, he runs into Bulma as it seems everyone's returned home from the beach finally. "Hey Goku," she says, "is Vegeta there?" "Yeah, he's in there being a jerk," he says, as she replies, "Well, you should know that better than anyone." "Yeah, we sparred and we're both exhausted, so I'm headed home," Goku mentions as she sees him off and Goku leaves, using instant transmission to appear right in front of his house. "Man, I can't wait to shower then get some rest and relaxation," he says. All of a sudden, Chi-Chi appears yelling his name already as she asks, What was that? Back at Gohan's house, Krillin has just dropped him and Videl off as Gohan thanks him for the ride home. Videl offers to put Pan to bed while Krillin and Gohan continue their conversation. So Krillin, he begins, why did you tag along with us? Well, Gohan, Krillin starts, that mystic form of yours is quite unique. I saw it in the Tournament of Power, but I never saw it up close and personal. I was wondering if you could show it to me now. That's it? Gohan replies. Sure, that's no biggie. Just don't expect too much. Piccolo only helped me unlock it enough to get me through the tournament. Believe me, Krillin says, I'm sure it'll be enough. Well, alright, Gohan says, and this is when he begins to power up and unleashes his potential right outside of his house. This may have been an absolutely crucial mistake, however, because at that very moment he does this, Cell is alerted of his location as he turns around saying, there you are. So what do you think, Krillin? Gohan says as he powers down. Krillin tells him that he thinks that Gohan has certainly come a long way, and then he gets another bright idea. Hey, how about this, Gohan? He says. Race me back to my place. It'll be a good opportunity to test out that speed of yours. But I'm sure you'll be back in no time. I like that idea, Gohan replies as Krillin hops back in his car. Well, you know I get a 10-second head start, he says, as Gohan agrees, so Krillin takes off. As Gohan counts to 10 slowly, he looks back into the house and takes one last look at his wife and daughter before finally making a regrettable mistake and leaving them alone. He powers back up and takes off after Krillin, but back in the house, Videl is busy tucking Pan into bed. As she walks back outside into the living room and takes a seat, she mentions how today was such a beautiful day and how she enjoyed spending time with everyone at the beach. I wonder where Gohan went, she mutters as she puts her head down and begins to doze off. About 10 minutes later, however... Huh? Oh, that's probably Gohan, she says, waking up slowly. When she answers the door, though... Videl shrieks as she opens the door and is greeted by none other than Cell, as she trembles, saying that he is supposed to be dead. Their grim fate, however, has already been sealed as Pan cries in the background. Wow, Gohan, Krillin says as we return to the end of their race at Krillin's house. Even with a head start, you still managed to beat me here. Though I shouldn't be surprised, I guess. Yeah, but this was good, Gohan replies. I had fun. But it's getting late, so I'll head back now. He leaps into the air and flies off as he and Krillin say their farewells. Normally, I don't leave Videl and Pan alone at this hour, he thinks to himself. I should hurry. Back at Goku's house, Goku is exiting the shower, ready to get some rest in finally, but this is when something hits him all of a sudden. Why am I getting this terrible feeling out of nowhere, he mentions, but eventually just brushes it off as exhaustion. Elsewhere at Capsule Corp, while Bulma and Vegeta lay in bed as well, Vegeta gets the same inkling that something is off. Something doesn't feel right, but he too brushes it off as nothing and tries to get back to sleep. When Gohan finally returns home, right away he notices that something is amiss as the front door is wide open. Videl, he calls out, entering the house. Videl, why is the front door open? As he checks out the rest of the house, he notices that Pan is no longer in her crib either and begins to freak out even more until all of a sudden, he hears another scream from outside. Gohan flies out of the house, bolting away at full speed to a nearby area, and is immediately stunned by not what, but who he sees as he says, it can't be. Cell currently has both Videl and Pan hostage as he greets Gohan, mentioning that he's grown up quite a bit since their last encounter. Cell, but I killed you, Gohan stutters. And yet here I am, Cell replies. Videl begins to freak out as Pan cries out of fear louder and louder as well, but Gohan warns Cell that he doesn't know why he's come back, but he better let go of his family right now. You are in no position to be making demands, Cell replies. You know, Gohan, he goes on, after you obliterated me, I had a lot of time to think while I was in hell on how I would exact my revenge, should I ever get out, that is. Then, an opportunity presented itself to me, in which I just couldn't pass up. Of course, I'm not obligated to go into further detail, but I'm sure you'll find out soon enough. My goal was just to kill you until I learned about your little family, and then it hit me. If I kill you, when I can kill your wife first. As Cell squeezes her neck even harder, Videl's vision begins to leave as the last thing she sees is her husband's face as she utters, "I love you, Gohan," the best she can as her last words. Videl's neck is snapped as she hangs deceased from Cell's grip. Gohan's jaw drops from shock, but Cell simply tosses her lifeless body at him. "I know what you must be feeling right now," Cell goes on. "Anger, hate, frustration, but probably above all, helplessness, right? To know that there was nothing you could do to save your wife." Gohan's anger begins to boil over as he holds Videl's corpse in his arms, but Cell doesn't stop there. "And now," he goes on, "here I hold your child, such a beautiful baby girl. And I thought to myself, who would kill such an innocent child?" Cell says, not taking his eyes off of Gohan. "Cell, please. I'm begging you, don't," Gohan pleads. But in the next moment, Cell's savagery stoops to a new low as he just blasts Pan away at point-blank range in his arms. Pan, who was just a baby, right in front of Gohan, sending him to a raging spiral of emotion and hatred. But just how will he be able to respond to Hakaishin Cell, a being whom they don't even have a clue has gotten abysmally stronger thanks to a little help from their very own God of Destruction? Thanks to Beerus having seen the earlier days of Gohan's spurts of overwhelming potential, he's made up his mind that he needs to see more. After witnessing the fight between Gohan and Cell many years ago, something piques the god's interest even more when Gohan loses control this time. This would cause Beerus to have Whis seek out Cell, who's in HFIL, and devise a plan with him. Sparing no feelings, Beerus explains to him that after witnessing his fight, he saw how Cell was able to awaken that fierce strength within Gohan, and he wants to see more. Whis had already tried to explain to him that Gohan's inner strength comes from loss and not battle or the thrill of the challenge. However, this would do little to deter him. Instead, Beerus would use Cell as his own personal hitman in order to awaken Gohan, even going as far as to share his own power with Cell and then marking his first victim, Videl. With such interest in Gohan's abilities, it seems cruel for Beerus to take this approach to some, and Whis seems to agree as he arrives on Earth with Cell. He goes on to bid a rather sudden farewell to Cell, telling him that he's brought him here, but he refuses to help him find Videl's location, so he leaves the rest to him. Whis returns to the God Realm as we make our way back over to Gohan's house, who's just been dropped off by Krillin. Gohan and Krillin end up engaging in a race after Gohan shows Krillin his unlocked potential. When he powers up though, this alerts Cell to their whereabouts, and with Gohan gone, he has no issues taking Videl and Pan. When Gohan gets back and notices them gone, he follows the trail of screams to a nearby field as he suddenly comes face to face with his old enemy Cell again. In an instant, right before Gohan's eyes, he snaps Videl's neck, leaving Gohan speechless as his wife is brutalized with nothing he could do about it as Cell taunts him. Then, he takes it even a step further as Cell obliterates Pan, who was just a baby, sending Gohan into a spiral I could never imagine, with everything being taken from him in the blink of an eye. This is the first time we would go on to see Piccolo in the series outside of the opening panel with him eating with Goku as he meditates in the mountains somewhere alone in solitude. All of a sudden, what? He thinks to himself. Why am I sensing Cell's energy? Gohan killed him years ago. It's impossible that he'd be back. Well, it has been peaceful these past months, that maybe my mind is playing tricks on me. But then, he senses the tragedy as his eyes rip open with him saying that maybe his mind wasn't playing tricks on him after all. "I'm coming, you two," he says as he flies off hurrying in their direction. Elsewhere, Tien and Chaozu seem to feel the same thing as they tremble in fear as well. Chaozu, you stay here. I'll go see what's going on, Tien says as he takes off too. Off in a restaurant in town, Yamcha is enjoying a bowl of ramen at his favorite spot, commenting on how amazing the food is. But this is when the disturbance reaches him as well. Is everything alright, sir? The waitress asks as she walks by, noticing Yamcha bothered. Yeah, everything's fine, he replies. Okay, well, here's the check, she says as she passes him the receipt. He gives her 50, telling her to just keep the change as he flies off, as everyone seems to be rendezvousing after feeling Cell's energy. Next, we go to Krillin's house as we see him tucking in Marin. He goes to check the fridge to grab something out, and this is when 18 comes into the kitchen asking him when he's coming to bed. Soon, 18, he replies, right after But he drops his cup as he begins to tremble in shock, with 18 asking what's wrong. It's Cell, Krillin stutters. I don't know how, but I'm sensing his energy. Krillin, that's impossible, 18 consoles him. You told me Gohan destroyed him. Yeah, he did. I know he did, Krillin comments. But I know Cell's energy when I feel it. It is him. I know the other guys probably sensed it by now too. 18, you stay here with Marin, he tells her. I'll go check it out and hope that I'm wrong. I hope you're wrong too. You be careful, she says. I will, he tells her, as the Z Fighters mobilize at the source of this strange energy. Well, my lord, Whis says as he looks into his staff back in the God Realm. Are you satisfied with your plan thus far? I only instructed him to kill the wife, not the child as well, Beerus says. Whis tells him that he should have known this character Cell, however, would have a personal vendetta against the Saiyans. Especially Gohan in particular, he goes on, since he's the one who destroyed him. Goku nor Gohan will take this lightly should they find out about this, he says. The Saiyans still don't even know that I'm the one who gave the go for the destruction of planet Vegeta, he mentions, and they won't find out about this either. I hope you're right, Whis comments. Whis, I thought you said that this boy grew strength from loss of life, Beerus asks. Cell just killed his wife and child, yet he's done nothing while Cell laughs at him. His mind is processing what just occurred, Whis explains to him. I'm sure Cell is soon to attack while he's processing, Beerus says, taking a closer look into the staff. Do something before he... Oh. Whis, look, he says suddenly, with Whis commenting on how he sees it too. Back at the battlefield, a storm is brewing as the evil act that just took place sets in. So tell me, Gohan, Cell begins, how does it feel to once again be helpless in saving those you care for? First your father, and now your own family. How truly pathetic, he exclaims. Gohan would continue sobbing, apologizing over and over again to his wife and daughter, saying how he's failed them. At that moment, Krillin, Piccolo, and the others finally arrive as they look on absolutely astounded at the sight of Cell, even though he should be obliterated. Oh look, Cell speaks up. The old gang is back. Seems the only two missing are Goku and Vegeta, but something tells me that won't be for long. No, Piccolo yells as he flies over to Gohan, who's still holding on to Videl. Was I too late? Gohan, is she? And what about Pan? She's dead too, Cell chimes in, as a deep, sickening feeling overcomes the Z Fighters after hearing this news, with Piccolo roaring about how he could kill a helpless baby. I'll admit that might have been a bit much, Cell says, but it was the perfect way to get back at Gohan for destroying me, and I must say, it felt really good. This is when Gohan's power begins to erupt as a shockwave levels the battlefield, but a rage like this and where it takes him is still yet to be seen. Back at Goku's house, Goku sits up in an instant, sensing something is changing with Gohan. I better go check it out, he mentions before teleporting away. Vegeta is on his way as well in the meantime already, headed that way, asking just why is Gohan's power rising like this? It's vigorously fast, he goes on. It must have something to do with what I felt earlier. Something is definitely going down. When Goku shows up at the battlefield, the first thing he sees is Gohan, but then his attention turns to Videl as he sees her lifeless in his arms. Everything begins to make perfect sense though, as Cell greets him finally, saying, "How nice of you to finally join us, Goku." "Impossible," Goku utters. "How is it that you're back, Cell? And where is my granddaughter Pan?" he roars. This is when Piccolo tries to muster up the words to tell Goku what happened to Pan, but this still all just seems like a sick joke to Cell. "I think the word you're all looking for," he says as Gohan remains speechless, "is dead." Goku roars Cell's name as his mocking has gone too far now. He transforms into Super Saiyan 2 and tells Cell, "I don't know how you came back, and right now, I don't care. What I do know is that you're gonna pay for the life you took from Videl, and most certainly from my granddaughter." Cell just continues snickering as Piccolo tells Gohan that he'll take Videl back to the group and away from the battlefield. He knows that this one is personal. "I'm sorry, Gohan," he says as he flies off. "Gohan, I think you should," Goku begins, but Gohan has waited long enough as his rage overflows and he transforms again, charging at Cell at full speed, declaring he'll pay for this. Cell, however, blocks his full power attack with a single hand. "What?" Goku exclaims. "He stopped Gohan's attack with one hand?" "I see you've gained some phenomenal strength since I've been away, Gohan," Cell says as he closes his eyes, applauding him. "However," he goes on, "I've acquired some new power as well, and when he opens his eyes, they resonate a violet, purple, and black, demonstrating the power he gained from the God of Destruction for the very first time." He connects a thunderous kick to the side of Gohan's face and sends him flying across the battlefield with ease over Goku's head. Goku retreats to check on him as Cell boasts about his new power, truly basking in his God Ki. "Gohan, son, are you alright?" Goku asks as he lands at his side. "Cell, I'll make him pay for what he did to our family, Gohan." "How's that son of yours doing, Goku?" Cell asks as Goku descends in front of him. He seems to be taking a little nap. Goku begins powering up even more, seeming like it's about time to transform again, with Cell telling him, "I know you've reached new heights, Goku, so show me your newfound power." Goku ascends through the ranks, powering up just as Cell asked for, and goes into Super Saiyan Blue. "Ah, quite impressive, Goku," Cell says, but he honestly sounds relatively unimpressed. "Well, now it's my turn." All of a sudden, Cell transforms into something that could only be described as damn near a Hakaishin form, with his body taking on a purple hue, declaring this is what true power is, almost blowing the spectators away with his energy. As Hakaishin, Cell, and Goku stand across from each other, one can't help but notice the menacing aura coming from Cell, and this power should ring familiar as well in due time. "There's only one person I know, at least in this universe, who has that kind of power," Goku says. Cell cuts him off, however, thirsting for a fight, saying, "Enough talk, Goku. Now is the time for our rematch to commence." Back in the God Realm, as we check in on Beerus and Whis, Beerus is kicked back but starting to look a little bit displeased at the series of events taking place on Earth. "This is not what I wanted to happen," he says. "What exactly did you think would happen, my lord?" Whis asks. "That Goku would stand by and do nothing?" "I was hoping that his son would have retaliated and tap into that so-called power you spoke of," he replies, sounding just as disappointed as us. "But the opposite happened and Cell took him out with a single blow." "Yes, that's true," Whis chimes in. "Well, it's not over yet, so perhaps things might change as the fight goes on, but remember that this was your idea and you assumed things would go according to plan without a hitch, yet poor baby Pan was killed." "Yes, that's quite unfortunate," Beerus says. And it's kinda hard to read whether he actually feels bad about this or not, but it's probably safer to go with no. "This was my plan," he goes on, "so I'll tell you what. Should things get out of hand, I'll intervene myself." "As you wish," Whis replies. "Speaking of things getting out of hand, it looks like Goku is having some trouble with Cell," Beerus comments. "It's as if Cell is learning to control what little portion of power I gave him, and somehow he's multiplied it." "Well, The Cell character was created from the genes of Goku and Vegeta, and when those two reach a new level, they do everything they can to master it as soon as possible, Whis explains to him. That would explain Cell's ability to control the power you gave him. I see. The clashes all over the battlefield are happening at untraceable speeds as Goku and Cell have the rematch of a lifetime. Cell, however, is showing the upper hand as he sends Goku sliding backwards with a kick. Damn it, Goku roars. This isn't good. His power is too strong, and to make matters worse, I wasn't even at 100% coming into this fight. What's the matter, Goku? Cell asks as he approaches him again. I hope you don't plan on quitting like you did last time, because this isn't a tournament. Are you guys seeing this? Krillin asks as he and the others spectate from afar. Goku is having trouble with Cell, and it's like Cell hasn't even broken a sweat. But the opposite happened, says Yamcha. Cell took him out in one blow. But what about that new form Goku achieved during the Tournament of Power, Tien asks? Why doesn't he just transform into that? If the gods applauded him for achieving something that they couldn't, Goku should be able to take Cell out. Piccolo agrees, but he mentions that the only problem with that is that Goku hasn't mastered it yet, so he can't transform into Ultra Instinct. You seem to be running out of gas, Goku, Cell says as he lands another punch. Goku catches himself, but without mastered Ultra Instinct, this honestly looks bleak. I don't have much energy left, so I have to put everything into this next attack, he thinks to himself. He takes it up another notch, turning into Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken next. Ah, so you do have some juice left, Cell replies. Let's see what you do with it. Kaioken Blue Goku charges at Cell once more, but this time, however, it seems he's able to land some solid attacks with his speed taking precedent. He punches Cell in the face, sending him flying, and then flies behind him and kicks him in the back. When Cell recovers, however, he's no more than enjoying the engagements. Goku prepares a Kamehameha, making his way towards Cell, as Cell tells him to give it his best shot. All of a sudden, Goku appears behind Cell using his instant transmission Kamehameha again, taking Cell off guard and blasts him at point blank range. A huge explosion occurs from the blast, as it seems Goku has landed a direct hit. You think that did it? Yamcha asks as he and the others look on for the final result. But by the look on Piccolo's face, I think we know. Goku curses himself as the smoke clears, revealing none other than Cell again, who's projected a barrier around himself, asking, did Goku really think he'd fall for that little trick again? Shame on you. Goku begins, but his energy all of a sudden is depleted so far that he falls back to base form and collapses to his knees. Well, Goku, you put up a good fight as you did last time, Cell mocks, but once again, you lose. And now, it's time to put you down for good, Cell goes on as he outstretches his hand and takes aim at Goku. This is when a Big Bang attack enters the battlefield, nearly making a direct hit on Cell, but he's able to dodge it in time. All of a sudden, Vegeta appears in front of Goku, delivering some much needed backup right on time and saving him. You'd think after the Tournament of Power you'd be able to handle this, Vegeta says, and Goku agrees that, yeah, he kinda screwed this one up. Well, Vegeta begins as he lays eyes on Cell again for the first time since the Cell games. Kakarot may not have defeated a god, he says, as he powers up to Super Saiyan Blue as well, but I have. Cell and Vegeta stand across from one another before their own rematch begins, as Akaishin Cell mentions he was wondering when Vegeta would finally show up. How have you come back, Cell, he demands. Last time we saw you, Gohan blasted you into oblivion. Furthermore, he goes on angrily, how did you attain those newfound powers of yours? There's only one person in this universe with such power. I was thinking the same thing, Vegeta, Goku says, agreeing. Cell remains silent though, still refusing to answer the question, but Vegeta doesn't press, saying that this reunion of theirs will be short-lived anyway. That's a bold statement coming from you, Vegeta, Cell replies. However, I am intrigued to see how far you've come since I've been away. I appreciate the save, Vegeta, Goku speaks up, but you and I both know that you aren't at 100%. I'm well aware of that, Kakarot, he replies. Well, Vegeta, are we ready to begin, Cell asks. Kakarot is right. I don't have any energy to waste, so I gotta give it everything I've got right now. Go to the others, I'll handle this, he tells Goku. Goku flies back to the rest of the spectators, leaving Vegeta for the time being to finish Cell. If Goku couldn't defeat me, what hope do you have, Cell asks, but Vegeta just smirks. In an instant, Vegeta goes on to power up even more as his aura grows violently, turning to a royal shade of blue. It seems you're not as weak as you once were, Vegeta, Cell states. That's quite a power boost. Vegeta tells him he doesn't need any verification from him, and the battle between these two godlike forms begins. Hakaishin Cell and Blue Evolution Vegeta clash in the skies, but Vegeta seems to have the upper hand at the moment as he lands a knee to the gut, completely stunning Cell, and then a punch across the face. He sends Cell flying, who really seems to have felt that last one as Vegeta mocks him for not being able to keep up. Not bad, Vegeta, Cell replies. You're actually putting up a much better fight than Goku did. Vegeta charges at him again, but this time, it's clear to Cell that he's already begun to slow down quite a bit, as Vegeta realizes that he has to finish this now, as his power is rapidly draining. With another thunderous kick, he sends Cell soaring into the air, and this is when he gets into a very familiar pose and begins charging obscene amounts of power. Vegeta fires a final flash at Cell, who braces himself for the impact as the beam tears across the battlefield. Cell creates another barrier reinforced with the energy of destruction as Vegeta's attack makes contact. The two struggle to overwhelm the other, but eventually, Vegeta seems to be gaining the upper hand. All of a sudden, an explosion occurs in the sky as Vegeta lowers his hands, drained of energy now. The spectators look on, wondering if Vegeta's attack was enough as well, but as we go on to see, only Cell's shield was damaged as he remains inside the cracked shell to everyone's shock. With all of his energy depleted now, Vegeta also falls back to base form as Goku comments that this isn't good at all. His energy is gone as well. Well, Vegeta, Cell says, smirking and only getting stronger. That was quite dramatic, don't you think? For a second, I myself was worried. Goku flies over to Vegeta to check on him, asking if he's alright, but Vegeta only harbors disappointment for not being able to beat this guy for a second time. Both Goku and Vegeta have failed. So I wonder how I should dispose of you two, Cell goes on. Any chance you'd be willing to do fusion? Goku asks, to which Vegeta denies, funnily enough, but their options are extremely limited right now. At this point, even Yamcha and the others are considering stepping in to help Goku and Vegeta after noticing their energy is completely sapped, but they quickly realize that their own powers would have little to no effect on this new version of Cell. Well, we can't just stand here and watch them die, Piccolo comments. Off in a crater nearby though, Gohan lay unconscious, having lost everything precious to him in a blink of an eye. All of a sudden though, he would envision Videl saying, Gohan, wake up, and his eyes would rip open with more rage than ever seen before. When we return to the God Realm this time, I can only imagine what Beerus is feeling after unleashing this terror on Earth, but per his role, do you guys think it matters all that much? Would you look at that, Beerus says. Both Goku and Vegeta failed to bring down Cell. Indeed though, Whis admits. It looked as if Vegeta was on the verge of breaking through and finishing the job. That was the case until his tank ran out of gas, Beerus states though. That was unfortunate, but I must admit, I'm glad it did happen like that, cause at least it gives Goku's son time to get back into the fight and I'll finally get to see what I want. Speaking of Gohan, Whis chimes in, it seems he's finally gained consciousness and is beginning to move. It's about time, Beerus exclaims. Come on, Whis, let's go to Earth. I want a front row seat to see this power you spoke so highly of. As you wish, Whis replies, and then they make their way back to the battlefield themselves. Look at you two, Cell says, mocking the weakened Goku and Vegeta, two of Earth's greatest fighters, helpless to defend their planet. We gotta think of something and fast, Vegeta, Goku exclaims, with Vegeta getting angry that things have gotten this bad this quickly. But this is when a surprising party steps in. That's it, Piccolo declares. I don't care if I die. I already failed to protect Videl and Pan. I won't just stand here and watch Goku and Vegeta be killed too. makes his way to the center of the action and lands behind Goku and Vegeta. "I'm glad you decided to join us, Piccolo," Cell says as he steps up. "This makes things a little more interesting." "I don't think it's a good idea for you to be here, Piccolo," Goku tells him. "Cell is too powerful for us in our current state." Piccolo, however, tells him that if they die, he'll destroy the planet, so what does he have to lose anyway? "I guess you're right," Goku replies. "I don't know about you two," Vegeta chimes in, "but I have no intention of dying today," he roars as both he and Goku power up as much as they can, transforming into Super Saiyan 2s, and Piccolo readies himself as well. Krillin and the others also have their doubts about joining the fray after seeing how strong Cell has become, but Tien tells them that they may not be able to do much, but if they fail, they're all dead anyway, and this is enough to get the Earthlings fired up as they head towards Cell also. Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo are busy doing their best attacking Cell 3-on-1, but they're making little progress in wearing down such a powerful opponent with the power of a god of destruction now. "Is that the best you have to offer?" Cell says as he disengages from them and then charges a blast. Goku, Piccolo, and Vegeta all create space between themselves and Cell and simultaneously take aim and fire off all of their signature moves together. As their attacks home in, Cell holds his ground and obliterates the best of their abilities as Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo stand shocked with little to respond with. All of a sudden, as Cell laughs at their pitiful power, the three Earthlings appear behind him and simultaneously attack as well, firing off their beams. "What?" Cell says as he turns around, noticing their attacks right on time and easily deflecting them away. "I see everyone wants to get involved now," he says joyously, cherishing the opportunity to clean up all of this for good. As everyone eyes Cell, pondering what they should do next, Cell would let out a thunderous, "No matter, I'll just dispose of all of you at once," letting off a powerful shockwave, knocking Goku, Yamcha, and the others away, boasting his superior power. With everyone on the battlefield laid out and Cell standing tall, it looks like this may be the end. "Now where were we before we were rudely interrupted?" Cell says as he ascends into the air. "Ah yes, I was thinking of how I would get rid of the two of you. I thought about taking my time, but I think I'll just destroy the planet now." He creates a humongous orb of destruction over his head, looking to erase the entire Earth, but this is when someone else approaches him now. "Gohan," Goku says as he struggles to sit up. "Oh, look who decided to wake up from his little nap," Cell chimes in. But Gohan can only see red now as Cell has done the one thing he could never forgive. "You. All I ever wanted was to live a normal life," he stutters through gritted teeth. "But ever since I was a child, something or someone was taken from me." At this moment, Gohan's power begins reaching alarming levels as the transformation is readily upon us. "And now, somehow you've come back and taken my family from me," he roars as he begins to black out, crippled by his own overwhelming strength as he remembers his family. Fidel, Pan. Why would this happen? How could it? Gohan's body begins to transform as his muscles swell and his eyes go blank momentarily. But somehow, he manages control. His shirt begins to rip under the strain of his transformation, and as he remembers the brutal fate of his family he was just forced to witness, the slaying of his wife, the senseless murder of his baby daughter, Gohan would change into something dangerous. Cell seems pleased that Gohan is finally showing what he's come here for, but in a thunderous explosion caused by the young man, Gohan's transformation would complete. With hair glistening a blistering silverish hue, Gohan would open his eyes and reveal a rage and a power we've never seen from him before. Ultra Gohan will be born versus Hakaishin Cell as this chapter of Dragon Ball Rage comes to an end. When we begin the next chapter of Dragon Ball Rage, it seems that Beerus and Whis have arrived right on time to see Gohan's new transformation. It looks like the two of them agree as well as Goku and Vegeta lay exhausted on the ground beneath them. "Whis and Lord Beerus," Goku says, noticing their arrival. "What are they doing here?" Gohan, however, is still in a fit of rage as Beerus' interest is piqued as his power continues to explode. I must say, this is quite an impressive transformation, Beerus says, smirking. He tells Whis that it seems he was right about Gohan the whole time. The boy has devastating power locked away. I'm glad you're impressed, Whis says. This new form of his is quite a unique power-up. My only concern is that since Gohan hasn't had proper training in a while, there's no telling how long his body can sustain such power. Well, I guess we'll find out, Beerus says, as the sight of both Gohan's new form and Hakaishin Cell's inflated power illuminate the battlefield. Gohan, I've waited a long time for this, Cell tells him, as Gohan furiously responds that he will make him suffer. Come on then. Gohan and Cell stand off across from one another as the battle begins in an instant, with Gohan charging at Cell at blazing speeds. Cell is able to dodge Gohan even with his newfound transformation heavily boosting his speed, and responds with a punch of his own, hitting Gohan square in the face. Gohan, taking a page out of Broly's book, however, seems unfazed by this punch as he forcefully turns his face back towards Cell, who responds with a shocked, "What?" Gohan ducks under and cracks Cell in the chin with an uppercut, sending him soaring into the air. He roars as his power continues to soar exponentially and chases Cell into the skies to combo. Beerus can't help but admit that Gohan truly is special as he watches the spectacle from the sidelines. Whis agrees, saying yes, he is, as he goes over to heal Goku and Vegeta. Thanks, Whis, Goku says. He then tells everyone that they have to go help Gohan, with Vegeta getting ready to power up as well, but before they take off, Beerus halts them in their tracks, telling everyone that they will do no such thing. What do you mean? My son needs me, Goku tells him, but Beerus stands firm in telling him that his son will fight this battle alone. Understood? Goku seems reluctant at first, of course, but in a sick, twisted way, he may kinda understand what Beerus is doing this for. Back in the sky, Gohan's new form is overwhelming Cell, as it seems like even a portion of Beerus' power combined with the perfect android has been surpassed by his old enemy once again. Gohan lands a crippling knee to the gut on Cell, causing him to cough up blood, and then he pulls his arm up and knocks Cell out of the air, hitting him in the back of the neck. Cell crashes into the ground, causing a massive cloud of smoke to erupt, but Gohan continues with his onslaught, launching himself towards the ground. Cell, on high alert, but fearing this barrage from Gohan, is barely able to maneuver out of the way before Gohan creates a crater in the ground where Cell's head just was. Gohan approaches Cell again, but all this has done is fired Cell up even more as he gives Gohan honest praise, telling him that his power is quite impressive. But it won't be enough to defeat me, he goes on, as he shoots a barrage of ki blasts at Gohan now. Gohan is momentarily pressured and slowed down by Cell's attacks, and as he tries to shield himself, Cell appears above him and delivers a kick that sends Gohan flying through multiple mountains at a time before crashing into a cliffside. Gohan, Goku exclaims as he gets back to his feet. I don't understand why you won't let me help my son, Lord Beerus. Both me and Vegeta could take out Cell now that we're at full power, he says. I think I know why you won't give me an answer though. This is when both Beerus and Whis turn their attention to him, however, surprised that they may have been found out. But the jig is up. When Cell transformed and showed me his new god power, Goku goes on, I knew there was only one person who had that kind of ability, and that person is Lord Beerus. My granddaughter and daughter-in-law were both killed, he roars at Beerus, accusing the gods of truly betraying them out of the blue. Did you have anything to do with this? Beerus remains silent, a stone look on his face, but this commotion would eventually interrupt the fight. Cell notices the arguing on the sidelines, but when he sees who it is, he realizes Goku and Vegeta are both back on their feet now as well, too. What? He exclaims. I can't handle both Goku and Vegeta with their new strength. Well, truth is, Goku, Beerus begins as he turns around irritably, about to expose everything now it seems like. But this is when Cell soars back into the sky, taking the initiative before this turns into a 3v1 and roars, saying, I don't know how you two are back on your feet, but you won't stop me from exacting my revenge on Gohan. He fires a flaring beam steaming from his aura, as he looks to destroy all of the spectators if he has to. "Quick everyone, look out," Goku yells as Cell's attack crashes into the space where the spectators just stood. Cell looks on from above, saying surely he got them all. But when we take a better look, however, we would see Goku, Vegeta, Whis, and the others shielded by a barrier created from the angel. "You interrupted me while I was speaking," Beerus says with a sinister look on his face now. I also can't really think of why Cell would risk hitting him or Whis in the first place, but now Beerus heads towards the battlefield to confront him. Cell's jaw drops when he realizes the mistake he's made now, but Beerus instantly appears in front of him. "It seems wielding the power of a destroyer god has gone to your head," Beerus says, glaring at him. "Do I need to remind you who gifted you those powers?" So Beerus pretty much just snitches on himself right now, and I'm not sure how far away they are from the others, but it seems like the only one that was able to hear these comments was Piccolo. Cell and Beerus remain in the middle of a stare down in the sky as Beerus goes on saying, "I didn't think so," as a reply to Cell's silence. "That power can be taken away as easily as it was given to you," he tells him. "What could Lord Beerus possibly be talking to Cell about?" Goku says as they remain on the ground looking off into the sky. However, Piccolo tells him that he knows exactly what they're talking about. Goku of course goes on to ask him what the big deal is, but when Piccolo turns around, he tells him that he thinks he should ask Beerus himself. Although, "Goku, you're not gonna like it." "Yeah, I kinda figured that," he replies. Back in the sky, Beerus continues to correct Cell as he tells him that from this point on, his only concern is Gohan. "I've already informed Goku and Vegeta that they, or anyone else, are not allowed to interfere in this fight." "That's mighty generous of you," Cell replies. "However, you might be thinking too highly of Gohan. He's been put down twice already. And it is precisely that arrogance of yours that got you killed the first time you fought Gohan. And quite frankly, it's beginning to annoy me," he roars. "Perhaps I've made a mistake and I should put you down permanently myself." Cell and Beerus definitely don't seem to be seeing eye to eye right now, and it's beginning to spill over in front of everyone. This is when someone roars over all of the other voices, "No," as Gohan appears from the smoke, once again declaring that Cell is his opponent and his alone. "Well, good luck," Beerus says as he returns to the sidelines, giving Gohan his 1v1. Now, the final round would begin, with Gohan looking in full control of his power. With them both staring each other down, Cell begins to power up again across from Gohan as both of their auras explode in the next panel. Then, the rematch begins, with both of them charging at one another in the skies, trading punches, almost looking kinda evenly matched. Beerus and Whis look on, absolutely amazed at Gohan's progression, as this seems to be exactly what Beerus was seeking this whole time. Gohan charges a massive amount of energy in a single fist, but Cell returns with a similar attack and they both clash in the middle of the battlefield. This clash of punches creates an enormous shockwave that manifests a brilliant orb of light in the center of the battlefield where the two meet. "This fight is very entertaining," Beerus exclaims. "I'm amazed at what we're seeing from Gohan." "Indeed," Whis agrees. "You failed to inform me how strong your boy was, Goku," Beerus continues, turning his attention back to the Universe 7 warriors. Goku replies, however, saying that he always knew he was strong, but Gohan always needed that push to get to the next level. "Which brings us to why we're all here," Beerus confirms. "You asked if I was involved." "Yes, I did," Goku says sternly. This is when Beerus proudly reveals that this whole thing was actually his idea from the start. This absolutely stuns the crowd, but I'm not too sure what they expected to hear given the events. "So you are responsible for what happened to Videl and Pan?" Goku asks. "Videl, yes," Beerus admits, "but there was no intention of killing the child. That was all Cell." "Well, I'm afraid I also played a part in this as well," Goku, Whis chimes in, admitting his role as well. When Lord Beerus woke from his slumber, he spoke of how excited and happy he was that our universe won the Tournament of Power, and how intrigued he was at how strong you and Vegeta had become. It was at that point that I informed Lord Beerus that your son Gohan had once surpassed you and Vegeta when he was just a boy. I told him that loss of life was a strong motivator in unlocking Gohan's power. And that's when I decided to bring Cell back, Beerus says finally. I hired him to kill Videl and gave him a portion of my power to push Gohan to a new level. But I never anticipated him killing the child as well, and for that, I apologize. You apologize, Goku says angrily. Apologies don't bring back Videl and Pan. Which is why I took the liberty of locating the Dragon Ball so you can wish them both back once this ordeal is done, but Goku still isn't sold on this betrayal. The death of both his granddaughter and daughter-in-law, all for Beerus' entertainment. It still doesn't excuse your actions, Lord Beerus, he continues on. After everything we did to win the tournament and keep our universe from being erased, you pull this? Kakarot, Vegeta says sharply before this goes too far. Goku turns his attention to Vegeta, asking what is it, and this is when Vegeta has to let him know that he does understand his anger, but Goku needs to see the bigger picture. What do you mean, bigger picture? Your son, just look at him, Vegeta says. He's going up against Cell with God power. When was the last time he showed any sign of Saiyan pride other than the tournament? He was weak, and becoming weaker by neglecting his training. Lord Beerus' methods may have been extreme, but look at the results. These guys are crazy. I just gotta throw that in there real quick. Your son has reached a new level that I didn't think he could, Vegeta goes on. As Goku continues to spectate the clashes above, it's clear that Gohan has reached a new level that even they themselves could learn from, as Goku says that this new power of his is truly phenomenal. Well, that was the purpose, Beerus says. Had it not been for Lord Beerus, Vegeta continues, your son would still have been a weak little schoolboy. A Saiyan must embrace his heritage, otherwise he'll be useless in battle. A lesson that would resonate with Gohan from here on out, as this chapter would come to an end, with the betrayal of the gods in Universe 7 finally being revealed, and the cost of Gohan's new power would be a great one to pay. I can tell you're quite uncomfortable with the entire ordeal, Goku, Whis comments. Yes, I am, he replies. Pan was just a baby. This is when Beerus cuts in again, reiterating that her death was unfortunate and never intended for that to happen. The both of them will be wished back immediately as soon as this is over as well, Whis chimes in. Goku, however, still isn't sold, as he tells them that he's grateful they've gathered the Dragon Balls for them and all that, but no child should ever have to go through something like that. Vegeta interrupts him again though, saying that they can't change what's happened at this point. All they can do is move on and wish them back. I would assume Vegeta is in heavy disagreement with what's happened here as well, but he knows that there's little they can do to Beerus and Whis, which is really unfair, but it is what it is. Tell that to Gohan, Goku barks back at him. I don't know how he'll react once he finds out about this. That's a good point, Lord Beerus, Whis agrees. Beerus states that he's well aware he'll be angered, but they'll cross that bridge when they get there. Across the battlefield, Gohan and Cell are still clashing mid-air, both at the peak of their power now. Impressive, Gohan, Cell roars, and this is when he easily ducks Gohan's next punch and is able to restrain him from behind, telling him, but you're still the same helpless little boy as before, only a bit taller. And your dad can't save you this time, he mocks. Well, this isn't looking good for Gohan, Whis says as Beerus responds, indeed, he'd better think of something. Krillin and the others think this is just as insane as we do as they look on as well. Come on, Gohan, Goku thinks, looking stressed out himself. You can do it. Up above, Cell is still just abusing Gohan, mocking him, continuing to squeeze his bear hug harder and harder as Gohan shrieks in pain. The sooner you give up, Gohan, the sooner you can reunite with your family. Like Android 16 said before I crushed his face in. Just let it go. This sends Gohan into a spiraling rage as his power erupts even more, and he's able to throw his head back and smack Cell in the face, and that definitely is gonna do the trick, as Gohan's rock-hard cranium forces Cell to let go and damn near makes him cry as he becomes enraged as well. Oof, I know that one hurt, Beerus says as the others look on. That's it, Gohan. Now's your chance. His exhaustion is beginning to show, however, but Gohan tosses a flurry of blasts at Cell with everything he has left. When he sees the attacks incoming, Cell at the last moment is able to put his barrier up, but Gohan uses the smoke from the explosions as a diversion and appears directly in front of him, piercing straight through the barrier with his hand. He grabs Cell by the neck savagely as Beerus confirms that it seems like now Cell is on the receiving end. Gohan puts the vice grip on Cell's neck and it looks like he's about to crush his throat with his bare hand. "Does this seem familiar to you, Cell?" he asks, getting arrogant now. I told you I would make you suffer for that," he explodes as he recalls the pain and suffering Cell caused to him and so many others throughout their encounters, and he begins pelting him in the stomach with punches. That's for Android 16. This is when he remembers how Cell mercilessly slaughtered Trunks as well, and delivers another crushing blow to the midsection, letting him know that that one was for Trunks. Next, Gohan remembers how Cell took the most important man in his life away from him with the explosion during the Cell games, and with a dent already apparent in his ribs, Gohan delivers one more crushing blow that begins to cripple him. He would recall Videl as well, his wife, the woman that stood by his side through everything, being slaughtered right in front of his face, melting Cell with more powered up punches to the same area. Cell begins to cough up blood and it's clear he won't be able to take much more of this, but this final one is beyond personal. "And this is for my daughter Pan," he roars as Gohan's final punch hits Cell square across the face and it releases all the rage felt in his heart, all the anger tingling throughout his body, from the audacity of Cell's actions in that single punch. Cell takes a nosedive into the ground, causing a massive explosion of debris and dust, as Yamcha admits that they've never seen Gohan this brutal since he first transformed into Super Saiyan 2, Piccolo chimes in, which, yeah, he was kinda like chopping Cell Jr.'s limbs off and stuff, but I still can't believe he ascended to that level at that age, Vegeta says, remembering that form from the Cell games. "So you're telling me he was that much of a brute when he was just a child?" Beerus asks, to which Goku replies, "Well, yeah, he definitely was. And that power went to his head fast," Goku comments, "but back then, he did show signs of a true Saiyan," Vegeta admits, "like we're seeing now." "I see," Beerus says, with that sneaky look on his face again. Back on the battlefield, Cell finally emerges from the smoke, holding his midsection, enraged once again, but the pain may actually overwhelm any emotion he could be feeling. "What's the matter, Cell?" Gohan asks as he approaches him, sounding rather arrogant all over again. "Feeling helpless?" he asks with a smirk on his face. Cell continues to cough up blood as Gohan walks even closer. "So there's that confidence I remember," Cell utters. "And it was that same confidence that left you helpless with one arm." This sudden outburst catches Gohan off guard, and it's precisely at this moment that Cell brings his hands to his face and uses the solar flare technique, attempting to blind anyone within range. This attack singes Gohan's eyes as he's left with limited vision for far too long in a battle of this caliber, yelling about how he can't see anymore. When he does regain vision, however, he sees Cell hovering in midair, with his aura growing larger and larger as he charges his power. "It seems you desperately wish to reunite with your family, Gohan," Cell roars as he raises a hand in the air, creating a ginormous orb of energy overhead. "Guys," Krillin says, trembling, this is crazy. It's too much." "Krillin's right," Yamcha responds. "This is getting out of control." "There's nothing we can do though," Piccolo says, as Tien agrees. Even Vegeta looks on, astounded, as an attack of this magnitude could easily wipe them all out. "We don't have to do anything but have faith in my son just like I did before," Goku reassures them. "He'll overcome and defeat Cell again." "Let's see if he can pull it off then," Beerus replies. "Don't worry, you'll soon be with your family again, Gohan," Cell yells from the skies, his attack growing larger and larger by the second. Gohan knows that there's no way he can let a blast like that come in contact with the earth, so he begins charging the Kamehameha. Cell uses both hands now to hold his attack overhead, telling Gohan that he'll have his vengeance now and rid himself of this planet once and for all, as Gohan continues preparing to meet his attack head on. "This is it, Gohan," he roars as Cell launches the massive spear down towards the earth, telling them all to die. Gohan meets the attack halfway with a beam of his own though, as the two enter the final struggle of the battle, reminiscent of how their previous battle concluded. The massive collision is a back and forth tug of war in a sense, as both Cell and Gohan give it everything they've got to erase the other. Oh my, Whis comments. I don't know if Gohan can handle a blast of that magnitude for much longer. This will no doubt be his greatest challenge, Beerus admits. The others, however, seem to maintain faith in Gohan, especially his father, as Goku truly believes he can do this once again. Just give it up, Gohan, Cell says, seeing the struggle in his face. You failed to protect Android 16, you failed to protect Trunks, you failed to protect your father, and you failed to protect your own wife and child. This sends a dagger through Gohan's heart as he admits that he's felt that his entire life he's let people down. Piccolo, Yamcha, Tien, Chiaotzu, Krillin, 16, Trunks, my father, and now you two? I swear on my life, never again, he roars as his power overwhelms the destructive spear. Cell is blown back by the Kamehameha once again as he's shocked by the power Gohan is displaying out of nowhere. This is impossible, he roars. Gohan's beam consumes Cell as his power rages on, remembering Videl and Pan, the two things he cherished most in life. Cell is blasted to pieces in the wake of this attack as his voice fades into space. Blown into the outer atmosphere, it would seem that Hakaishin's Cell is finally no more, but Gohan is still a broken man as he descends to the ground and returns to base form. He did it! My son defeated a god, Goku cheers. Well, technically yes, Beerus admits. Something you've yet to do, however, Kakarot, Vegeta chimes in. Gohan falls to his knees, however, enraged, saddened, brought to tears that now that the battle is over, he has nothing to go home to. I'm sorry, Videl. Pan, he says, and then he lets out an ear-shattering shriek as the others approach him hesitantly. The next day, everyone gathers at Gohan's house as Whis presents the Dragon Balls as promised as they prepare to summon Shenron. You ready, Gohan? Goku asks as Gohan, with a stern look, replies, yeah. When they set the Dragon Balls down, Goku goes on to summon Shenron as the mighty dragon appears from the globe. I am the eternal dragon Shenron, he declares. Speak now, for I will grant you one wish. Shenron, Goku calls out. I wish for you to revive both Videl and Pan who were killed by Cell yesterday. Shenron goes on to grant the wish, confirming his request is complete, and then the dragon disappears again with a farewell as the 7 Dragon Balls scatter across the planet. Where are they? Gohan asks, but this is when the door to his house opens and Videl appears, holding baby Pan. As they're reunited, Gohan apologizes repeatedly as Videl confirms that it's fine. They're back now. Are you satisfied with the outcome, Lord Beerus? Whis asks, as Beerus confirms that he, in fact, is. The boy showed signs of a true warrior, he goes on. There is no telling how much power is locked away within him. Upon hearing this, though, Gohan asks his father to stay with Videl and Pan momentarily, and then he walks towards Beerus and Whis. My father and Vegeta told me how Cell came back, Gohan says as he confronts Beerus. What they told you is true, the god replies. However, I wasn't finished, Gohan cuts him off sternly.